Lebo is someone that nurtures and accelerates the growth of African startups and SMEs using digital marketing tools and strategies. She helps business owners, professionals, and marketing industry leaders to enhance perspective on subjects such as social selling, influencer marketing, and social media. So those of you that are interested in how to use social influencers into your businesses, this could be some perfect person to engage with on the topic. She also assists people on enhancing the power of building communities online and creating African narratives for Africans. So I'm quite excited to sit in on the session with Lebo. I think from what you guys have been saying about your challenges regarding digital marketing and actually transitioning into a digitized environment, she is pretty much the key person that will help you in this regard. Please engage with her, Lebo. If you're ready, I'm going to hand over to you. So I'm going to take it as a thumbs up. You're good?
Hi, yes, good.
Fantastic.
Can everyone
over
hear
to
me?
you.
Great. Hi, everyone. Happy Entrepreneurship Week. Yes, we're going to make this a week of elevation of knowledge, and I'm honored to be starting off the festivities for 67 CEOs. Okay, my name is Lebo Lion, innovation strategist, digital marketer, and podcasting pioneer. This is how to use marketing, technology, and strategy to thrive in a digital world. I've helped and worked with over thousands of brands and businesses, most of whom, I'm proud to say, survived COVID with their businesses intact. And we'll talk about this a little bit further in the conversation. But for now, I want to share a fun fact with you. Did you know that lockdown is the word of the year for 2020? So according to Collins Dictionary, lockdown is the word of the year for 2020. Lockdown is defined by Collins as the imposition of stringent restrictions on travel, social interaction, and access to public spaces. And its usage has boomed over the last year. The 4.5 billion word Collins corpus, which contains written material from websites, books, and newspapers, as well as spoken material from radio, television, and conversations, registered a 6,000% increase in its usage. In 2019, there were 4,000 recorded instances of a lockdown being used. And in 2020, this has soared to more than 250,000. And I think that we can all agree that lockdown is an uncomfortable state, and nobody wants to be in lockdown. And yet it's one of the most used words of 2020. And I want you to think about this as we go through the conversation, because this is very important. And some of the other top 10 words in the Collins Dictionary list are social distancing, self-isolate, which is, I think, a great word, TikToker, furlough, and coronavirus. I think all of us can relate, and we've used these words a lot of times in the past year. So if we had to put the 2020 experience in a few short sentences based on the words from Collins Dictionary, it would read a little something like this. People were encouraged to isolate themselves from others, share snapshots of their lived frustrations in quick short videos on social media, all in an effort to stop the spread of a disease that has no cure. Oh, and by the way, they're doing all of this with their jobs and incomes under threat. Sounds a bit accurate, doesn't it? I think so. I think this is a great representation of the year that is 2020. And let's bring it into perspective. This means that for the majority of 2020, we as a society spoke about the things that are unpleasant to us. We had more conversations about the things that were unpleasant to us, and we expressed our pain and discomfort than our joy and our fulfillment. For most people, this is a bleak picture. But when I look at this, I see a story, barring a few changes, that could have been written for the Great Depression, a story that could have been written for the stock market crash of 2008, a story that could have been written for the Industrial Revolution. And in all of these stories, there's a common theme, a theme of change and uncertainty, and most importantly, a theme of opportunity. As a marketer, I'm constantly studying society and the economy to find the links, the disconnects, essentially the opportunities that are available for us to capitalize on as business people, as professionals, as scholars. And for me to be able to do that, two things have to be my foundation of truth. One, change and uncertainty are the only thing. And two, opportunities exist in all conditions of history. And I think that's a truth that many of us don't want to acknowledge, isn't it? That opportunities exist in all conditions of history. And let's bring these truths down to real life business examples. Let's use Uber as our example. Could the taxi industry have predicted that Uber would disrupt the way that they do business? No, that's change. Will Uber continue to dominate the taxi transportation industry in the future? We don't know. That's uncertainty. Can new participants disrupt the way that Uber does business? Absolutely. And those are opportunities. And we can even apply it to our paragraph that we wrote that shaped 2020. I can identify at least 5 opportunities for new and existing businesses. Would you believe me if I said that? Well, let's give it a try. People were restricted from doing what they want. So the problem here is that people can't participate in the activities that they always participate in, like going to the movies or the gym. A possible solution is creating online workout classes if you're a personal trainer, for example, or creating a Netflix movie experience for people who are watching movies from home. Our second sentence, encourage to isolate themselves from others. The problem here is that people can't get the human interaction that they used to, which could create feelings of loneliness and isolation. A possible solution, if you are, let's say, an events company, is to create online concerts. Or if you're a book club, you could have online book clubs. Offer the market solutions that help them feel less alone. Our third sentence is share snapshots of their lived frustrations in quick, short videos on social media. When I see this line, I see marketing opportunities. If you sell products online, you could create video-centric digital marketing campaigns and collaborate with TikTokers. If you are a media house or an entertainer, you could create short stories for your audience that they could view on a daily basis. Our next sentence is, all in an effort to stop the spread of a disease that has no cure. The problem that I see from this sentence is uncertainty. When people live in uncertainty, they often find themselves dealing with mental illness challenges. A possible solution for, let's say, a psychologist is to offer online therapy sessions. Oh, and by the way, which is our last sentence, they're doing all of this with their jobs and income under threat. What this sentence highlights to me is that COVID and lockdown are a time where there's a lot of price sensitivity, It's a time when companies who are offering lower costing products, they're more likely to succeed. It's the time when people are looking for price deals because they don't have as much money to spend as they used to have. And voila, the solutions that I've identified are solutions that I just came up with now from the top of my head. And imagine the incredible solutions we could come up with if we actually sat with these sentences and really tried to identify real solutions. I hope that as we were going through this exercise, that you were able to plug your business into these sentences and ask yourself, what is my business offering? How does it address one of these problems? And how do I communicate this? And further on in this presentation, we'll talk about the Psso Framework that helps you answer these questions to help you make your business commercially viable on digital platforms. Colleagues, fellow entrepreneurs, scholars, friends, I know that lockdown has been a devastating time for all of us. And I know that you don't want to hear this right now, but I think we can turn it around. I need you to open your hearts and your minds to the idea that you are bigger than this singular event in history, and that hidden in the rubble of 2020 are the tools we need to build innovative business models. It's not over. In fact, the party has just begun. What I want us to keep at the back of our minds throughout this entire presentation is think different. Think different, which also happens to be the iconic slogan of an equally iconic brand, Apple. It was this slogan and ad campaign of 1997 that propelled Apple from being a company that sells computers to a brand that represents creativity and innovation at its best. When you allow yourself to think different, you open yourself up to the myriad of opportunities that exist for your business. And you give yourself the permission to create innovative business models and produce creative and brave digital marketing campaigns. And let me show you what I mean.
Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them. About the only thing you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They push the human race forward. While some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do.
Brilliant ad, isn't it? It's actually one of my favorite adverts of all time. I think this is going to be our theme for today. Think different. I want us to maintain this energy as we go through the presentation, because you won't be able to ride the wave of digital disruption if you're not willing to think different. Think different. Think different. Our journey for this morning is going to start with digital marketing. And once we have a decent understanding of that, we'll use it to design innovative business models. Digital marketing, a phrase that we have been hearing a lot of during COVID. A new McKinsey report shows that nearly all organizations, whether traditional companies or startups, are reorientating their business models to be more digital as a direct result of the impact of COVID-19 on changing consumer behaviors. But what is digital marketing? Before we can answer that question, we need to understand what marketing is, because marketing is the foundation of it all. If you don't know what marketing is, you cannot understand what digital marketing is. Simply put, marketing is the process of creating and delivering value to the end user. Creating and delivering value to the end user. And we use the marketing mix, which is comprised of product, price, place, and promotion. That's the foundation. We could extend this, but for today, we're going to look at the foundation of the marketing mix, which is product, price, place, and promotion to make it happen. Digital marketing is therefore an overarching term that encompasses all types of online marketing. And digital marketing can also extend to things like SMS, television, and radio, which we won't be covering in this presentation, but I need you to keep your mind open to that when you create a digital marketing strategy, you can also extend it to things like SMS, television, and radio. Now, what we need to understand is that the core of marketing exists between two axes, an axis of value and uniqueness. That's what we use to determine whether our businesses have a meaningful existence or not. And in order to assess the marketing value of our products and services, we're going to use a 2x2 matrix centered around value and uniqueness. Remember, uniqueness does not mean new. Uniqueness means differentiated. And differentiated means how easily a product or service occupies its own space in the buyer's mind. So let's go through this matrix. We've got uniqueness over here and we've got value over there. We've got on the top left-hand side, we've got a product that's not very unique, that's very unique, but it's got very little value. And you're seeing here, it's actually shoes that have umbrellas on them. Somebody decided to invent shoes that have umbrellas on them in case it rains. It's obviously a ridiculous invention and it won't be something that's bought by people or be very successful. So it's highly unique, but it's not very valuable. And that's just a product that will never work. And then in the bottom left-hand corner, we've got a product that's not very unique and not very valuable. And you can see in this picture, we've got an onion cutter. It's literally a fork-like device that goes into your onion, and then you use your knife to cut. Absolutely ridiculous invention. Nobody's going to care about it. And we've already got knives. We do not need onion cutters like this. Then we move to the bottom right of our matrix, and you see money. So these are products that are not very unique, but they're very valuable. Things like toilet paper, So when you have a product like that, you have to compete on price. That's what people are going to be looking for. But where you really want to be with your business is in that top right-hand quadrant, where you create a brand that's very unique and very valuable. And I think the best representation of this is Apple. Remember, the key to all of innovation and marketing is the creation of unique value. And remember that unique does not mean new, it just means differentiated. It occupies a special place in the consumer's mind. Marketers have, over time, developed a digital marketing mix to help you design effective digital marketing strategies that encompass uniqueness and value. And it comprises of the foundations of our marketing mix, which are product or commodity, price or cost, place or channel, promotion or communication. Understanding how to leverage the strengths of each promotional mix item to suit your unique business needs is the key to creating a successful digital marketing strategy. And we'll dive into the digital marketing mix further on in this conversation. I'm sure some of you are sitting in the crowd and thinking, yeah, I've heard this before, but it doesn't work. Or my business has tried to use digital marketing, but it hasn't worked. I love hearing people say things like this. And I want us to zero in on at least 5 myths about digital marketing that are creating a barrier to your success. We need to talk about these myths. The first digital marketing myth is that digital marketing only works for certain kinds of businesses. The truth is that digital marketing can work for any kind of business. Digital marketing works when you have a strategic drive and the digital maturity to understand how it works. And digital maturity just means how well versed you are at using digital tools. What most companies do is use, let's say, a clothing brand strategy to amplify a mining company's digital marketing strategy. And this won't work. You have to create a unique digital marketing strategy for the kind of business that you're working with. The second myth with digital marketing is that digital marketing is social media and it's only on social media. The truth is that digital marketing comprises of a myriad of tools such as email, SEO, SEM, websites, social media, digital billboards, and the list goes on. There's a wide mix of digital marketing tools at a company's disposal. The third myth, and I think this is one that people use a lot as an excuse, is that South African people cannot afford the data that's needed to participate online. The truth is that South Africa currently has a population of 58.93 million people, and there's a 62% internet penetration rate in South Africa, meaning that there are over 36.5 million internet users, which is a 3.1% year-on-year increase, right? And of all of these people, over 22 million of them are active social media users. This means that there's a significant portion of the South African market that's already online. So we can't rely on this idea that South African people don't have access to the online space and therefore you do not need a digital marketing strategy. That's absolutely false. The fourth myth is that digital marketing is influencer marketing. The simple answer to this is no, just no. Influencer marketing relates to the part of marketing that's concerned with using influencers, whether that's celebrities, thought leaders, social media influencers, etc., to amplify a brand or help a brand move more units of its product. The fifth myth is that the online space is for young people who don't have money to spend. And I've also seen that a lot of South African companies really love to rely on this age thing about social media. And this is false. The online community is a diverse one. The different digital tools that you employ to achieve your marketing objectives will determine which age group you speak to. Your copyright, which is basically the words that you would use on your poster, your captions, anything that's written that you use to promote your business, allows you to reach different kinds of people and people of different ages. So there are different kinds of people and communities that exist online. It's a vibrant and a diverse space. And so we should leverage from that diversity. And I think that this advert that I'm about to play from you, which is the Vodacom Slap Tiger ad, accurately portrays the danger in undermining the online space.
Sam, you must see what I wore to that event last week. Is your network a slop tiger? Slop tiger! I don't understand. These issues in Houghton.
What issues in Houghton? Suction.
Too much of signal. Hashtag jealous. Don't blame slop start. Blame slop tiger. Slop tiger? You know what else knows?
Change the game on South Africa's best network. Vodacom. Power to you.
So what I love about this Vodacom advert is that it's asking a critical question. Is your online connection a slap tiger? And I'd like to extend this to businesses and ask, is your digital marketing a slap tiger? Are you placing less importance and investing little to no resources in your digital marketing strategy because you have a firm belief that it doesn't work? Even though listed companies like Vodacom are telling you that your customers are online. Is your digital marketing a slap tiger? We really need to take digital marketing seriously as African business people. And I think the reason why digital marketing hasn't worked for so many African businesses is because people think that at the core of digital marketing success is technology, that technology is the foundation and the core of digital marketing success, when the true core of digital marketing actually lies in the customer. It's not about fancy apps, it's not about impressive websites, it's not even about high-end technology, it's just about people. Digital marketing is all about having a deep understanding of the customer, and it has all the tools embedded within it to extract information about the customer in ways that traditional commerce simply cannot. We're talking about search engine optimization, we're talking about your metrics, we're talking about listening tools, right? And through digital marketing, you can track your customer's purchasing experience from the moment it begins through to the actual purchase, straight to consumption, and the customer's perception of the entire experience. This is powerful. You could never do this before in history. It was never possible. And when used correctly, digital marketing gives you the power to be a business that is global and has a global footprint. Take it even further. Digital marketing gives you a qualitative story of the quantitative customer data that you extract from day-to-day operation. And what's the lesson here? Always put the customer at the center of your digital marketing strategies. It's a people-first kind of game. Your concern, therefore, as a business owner is not sales, but customer behavior. Understanding how customers behave online and knowing how to leverage from it on digital platforms is the key to unlocking sales and loyal customers. So where do we start with digital marketing? Traditionally, organizations would conduct business in this way. They believe that they have a great product and then they try to take it to the public. They try to market it to the public. However, this strategy does not put the end user first, the person first. And in order to put the customer first, organizations need to ask themselves the fundamental question: do people even want this? Do people need this? It's far more practical to identify and satisfy rather than to develop a product and hope it will work. I hope people are hearing me. This is very important. It's far more practical to identify and satisfy rather than develop a product and hope it will work. It's estimated that 80% of all new businesses fail. And the biggest reason for the failure is a lack of understanding of demand from the end user. New businesses do not understand their customers. And so it contributes to their failure because the person, the customer, the people are at the core and foundation of why we do business. So how do we create businesses that add value to the customer's life? How do we create products that the customer wants? And how do we do this digitally? Let's use the digital marketing mix that we spoke about earlier to do this, right? So as you can see in this picture, we've got the digital marketing mix that's comprised of the foundations of digital marketing mix, which is product, price, promotion, and place. So let's start with the product. First, we have to assess whether our offering is commercially viable for selling online and commercially viable for online consumption. And this is important because people exist online differently to how they exist in the real world. We assess whether our product or service is commercially viable by using a Psso framework that looks a little something like this. The Psso framework is basically a composition of problem, statistics, solution, and offering to assess whether your product or service is commercially viable. The problem is basically what exists in the world, what problem exists in the world that you're trying to solve. The statistic is a statistic that you find that proves and supports your problem. The solution is all of the solutions that exist in the market, and the offering is how does your product or service fix the problem? How does it contribute to fixing the problem? The Psso framework is great, and it's a very quick tool that business people can use because it helps you identify whether your offering is commercially viable. So if your product or service is not addressing a need or a want in the market, it doesn't have value and people won't care about it. And the problem that you address does not have to be severe. It can be small. It can be something like women with dark skin can't find lipstick shades that complement their skin tone. So your business could be solving that problem, you know? The second thing that the PSSP framework or PSSO framework helps you do is it helps you identify gaps in your strategies. Have you thought through your intentions in starting this business? Do they align with the market in the current state of society? Or are you just taking chances? I know that during lockdown, a couple of brands actually had to change even their logos and their mottos because they weren't socially relevant for the time that is COVID. So KFC, for example, changed their finger licking good because, you know, social distancing, we can't share food, we can't touch things without sanitizing our hands, etc. So they had to change their campaign so they're not using finger licking good anymore. And that allowed them to succeed more online in their digital strategies. Another thing that the PSSO framework helps you do is it helps you identify who your competitors are and what the market looks like. By making yourself aware of the solutions that are available to the market, you're forced to be aware of your possible competition in the market, right? So if you saying your solution is fried chicken and you are Tando's fried chicken, you also have to acknowledge in this process that KFC is your competitor, Chicken Licken is your competitor, and this is very important. In doing this, you can determine more accurately where you fit into the market, and you can create messaging and communication that actually works and that penetrates and reaches the right customer. The PSSO framework also helps you have an idea of who your customer would be, because in the process of figuring out whether you're commercially viable, you have to think about who you're solving the problem for. And in doing that, you'll be able to create digital marketing campaigns that actually address the right people instead of just guessing who your customer online would be. And the PSSO framework also helps you position your product in the correct environment online. When you know who your market is, and the process of investigating where they live online and where they participate online becomes much easier because you understand what their problem is. You know what the statistics are about that market. So you can even find the communities that are talking about these problems or communities that are offering these solutions. So you can actually understand where you can find your customer online and where you fit in online. So please write this thing down. It's very simple. You can use it as you're creating your digital marketing campaigns. It always works. For all the businesses I've worked with, this PSSO framework always works. The second part of our digital marketing framework is price. Contrary to popular belief, pricing is a psychological experience for people. As a business, you need to focus on communicating the value of your product over the cost of your product. You can do this by answering a very simple question. What's in it for the customer? Because that's the question that the customer is asking themselves. What's in it for me? Answering this question is going to rely on your content strategy and how effectively you communicate with your customers. The rule of thumb that I've often used with various clients, especially on their e-commerce stores and their Instagram accounts, is the following. Features tell and benefits sell. Features tell and benefits sell. How you communicate your online value proposition to customers matters. The online value proposition is your unique selling point online. It's important to clearly communicate what online experiences and content your brand can offer for each site, app, platform that your market will be on. If your company's site does not live up to the online value proposition, new visitor expectations will not be met, and they will be likely to not come back. Loyal customers might leave, and you probably not work over the long term. It's better to over-deliver on the online value proposition than under-deliver against promises you can't keep. Remember that you generally have only one opportunity to impress. And to further communicate this idea of benefits sell and features tell, we have this really cool and simple illustration of an iPod. The features here are it has storage for 1 gigabyte of storage, and you can see those are the features. But the benefits is that you can save 1,000 songs in your pocket. People want to know how this benefits their lives. They don't necessarily want to know how the device works, but you can extend this conversation once you've grabbed their attention with the benefits. And I also want to use this King Price ad that appeals to how we communicate the benefits of what we sell to our customers.
What are you doing?
You said if I wanted to do business with you, I have to become a vendor.
When others don't make sense, we do.
I love this ad by King Price. And I think they're appealing to how hard it can be to navigate through the world, how complicated it is to do business, and they're appealing to how frustrated and confused most people feel when they're dealing with financial matters. As a financial services provider, they're saying, we can make it easy for you. When others don't make sense, we do. I think this is brilliant. The benefit of using King Price is that they simplify everything for you, which is also a lesson we can take into how we should communicate our promotional material to our customers. Let them talk about the benefits. Tell them about the benefits and not about the features. If there's one thing that you remember about price in this talk, it's that when you communicate value to your customer, you're not just justifying price. You're actually intensifying the customer's overriding desire to consume what you offer. They need to have an unshakable belief that the need or want that you're offering is being met and satisfied by your product or service. It's not about how much the product costs, it's about how it makes them feel and how it can benefit them. So that's very important for us to know as business owners. The third promotional mix item is promotion, right? The promotion element of our digital marketing mix is all about how we communicate our offering to the market in order to get them to see us and buy from us. Content marketing and pay-per-click advertising are a couple of examples of digital marketing promotion. Many businesses and brands also rely on the very controversial influencer marketing to promote their products online. Anybody who follows me online knows that I love influencer marketing, and I really believe that businesses should be using influencer marketing. When you create digital promotion strategies online, they have to be three things. They have to be considered and they have to be authentic. So you can't just create promotional material that you think will work. You have to think about how the customer is going to read it. You have to think about where the customer will be consuming this message. You have to think about the platform. You have to think about if it's true to your business and if it's true to the customer who you're trying to get. Simply working with popular influencers who have a lot of followers will not be the results that you seek. And it's important to create meaningful and impactful campaigns with your influencers in order to gain the attention that you desire from your customers. And you also have to have the appropriate copyright, which is just any written real estate that you have online. Anything you write, whether it's a caption, whether it's anything on your poster, you need to have the appropriate copyright for your audience so you can get the right people's attention. And your digital marketing promotion has to be clear. It has to be very clear. The customer must see themselves in what you're trying to promote. A beautiful statistic from a leading digital marketing company highlights how for every $1 that businesses spend on influencer marketing, you can expect an average return of $18. That's 1,800% return if you use influencer marketing appropriately. So I really do encourage small business owners to use influencer marketing and to use it with consideration because they can get much higher returns from it at a lower cost than if they had to pursue traditional methods of promoting their brands. The fourth digital marketing mix, and our last one, is place. And on the digital sphere, that would be your digital channels, right? When business owners and organizations think of digital marketing, they often think of the channel first before they think of the strategy. Digital marketing channels are the platforms and the tools that we use to execute our digital marketing strategies and reach the end user. I like to extend the explanation of digital marketing channels to your digital storefront, your office, your event venue. It's the place where your customers can consume your offering as well. Platforms and tools such as email marketing, content marketing, your blog, your e-commerce store, your social media pages are all examples of digital marketing channels. And a fun fact is that most people don't know that digital marketing also extends to the non-internet mediums, like your SMS, your television, and your radio, which we spoke about a little bit earlier in our presentation. And I think you can follow me on my social media platforms to get an in-depth conversation about that. But for the purposes of this conversation, we're just going to focus on the online tools that are available to us. The trick with digital marketing channels is to understand that they require your strategic input in order for them to work. You can't just choose a channel and say it's going to work because customer is. You have to think about your selling appropriate for the market that you're in. A channel has no value without strategic intent. The strategic intent has to encompass the entire value chain and marketing objectives. Most importantly, because channels help you reach the customer in the most optimal way for your strategy, we need to acknowledge the critical value of communication. Good communication is what converts channel efforts into customer engagement, into customer purchasing, into customer action, and we want our customers to act. That's the point of why we create digital marketing campaigns and strategies. Marketing channels can replace or complement. Your e-commerce store can either replace your normal storefront or it can support, can also help you manage traffic store. You know, it's small things like that that allow you to manage where you want to divert traffic from your customers and where you want to divert attention. Let me show you a clever Dutch online stores ad about how they communicate the value of shopping online and the value of their customer experience.
Darf ich kurz? Eigentlich nicht, nein, es ist meins. Nee.
So I think that a lot of small businesses have to consider whether it makes more sense for them to trade online or if it makes more sense for them to have a brick and mortar store, if it makes more sense for them to have both. I always recommend that businesses have both so that you can reach a wider customer base. What does the future look like? We've spoken about the digital marketing mix, and we've spoken about all the components of the mix and how you can use them. So what does the future look like? How do we navigate through a new normal? We think different. We adapt. We ingrain technology and digital strategy into our company culture. And for those small businesses out there, We start to think big and we play big. Technology is the greatest equalizer of our time. And let's use it to compete, use it to differentiate ourselves. Let's use it to be seen by the right people. And remember that in the digital world, the customer is at the heart of everything we do. It's not about fancy technology. It's not about flashy adverts. It's all about the people. So in closing, I only have one question for you. Are you ready to be one of the few and daring crazy ones? Thank you.